Hey guys, and welcome to another weekly wrap-up. This is where Gretchen and I talk about the posts that came out on our blog and the videos that came out on the YouTube channel, because there's lots of things, lots of places, and try and get them all in one place so that you can see them all and know what you've missed if you missed any of it. If you didn't, wow, I'm proud of you. You're determined.
So, on Monday, I was back with a definitely unpopular opinion video wherein I talked about the top 10 series that I will not be finishing. And it's also really like this embarrassing video for me because I got super expressive and into the video. So my face, literally, even if you get angry at my words, watch it from my face, because while you're angry at me, you'll also be able to laugh at me, and it's great. It's great. I just need to remove my face. It's fine.
My Monday post was a wrap-up, and this is a wrap-up, but that was a monthly wrap-up where I talked about all of the books that I read in January, which was 13 books, which is crazy. And yeah, those were all different, and I go into all of them and link to all of the reviews if they have a review, so you should definitely check that out if you want to see what I read last month and what I thought of all those books.
On Tuesday, we both released tag videos because we always do our tags in twos. So yes, two separate tags. On my blog, there was the winter tag. So talking about some wintry themed questions with that. And I'm not going to say too much about the tags because I think that it's the blizzard tag that we were really excited about and really happy about. But I'm going to let Michaela take care of that as I point to the side where you can't see her. She's there, I promise.
Hiya, I am there. Yeah, so we got tagged for the first time in an actual tag, and so we did that tag, and then did another tag, because when we do tags, we always do tags in pairs, like Gretchen said. So the Blizzard tag is on my blog, but it's also here on YouTube, and it will be in the eye up here, and you can click on it and go watch it, and maybe you got tagged, because we did tag some of our subscribers in that video, and you don't have to do it, but we figured we would take part in spreading the tag around.
Doing that tag inspired me to do my Worth It Wednesday on a series that I haven't read in a while, and I know was a kind of like a limited release series, but it was a duology by Talia Vance called the Bandia series. The first book was Silver and the second book was Gold, and that's a really fun Worth It Wednesday for me, because though I really do enjoy Silver, and in fact when I read them I rated Silver higher than I rated Gold, in the end I love Gold more than I love Silver, because guys, I love books that say, I see the tropes that you expect, and I smash it with my sledgehammer. So I love it. It was amazing, and if you haven't heard of it before and you're into Irish mythology and trope smashing, go read. You can come back to this video later. Go!
My Wednesday post was a video review of The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. It was a controversial review because I did not like it very much, but I'm not going to say any more than that because you have to go see why I didn't like it. I discussed that in the video as well.
So on Thursday, when I was supposed to have a thesis Thursday, I didn't have a thesis Thursday, and instead, on February 4th, I posted my January wrap-up for my blog, which is all the books that I read, which is half important because some of those books I didn't review on my blog because they were rereads, or I just didn't review them. It was mostly done because as Michaela has been doing her Pop Sugar Challenge updates, per review, I just kind of have been reading books, and I wasn't even sure how many books I'd read for my Pop Sugar Challenge, so I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll figure that out. So I actually found out some numbers that really impressed me. I mean, I'm always impressed with myself, but that's not true. Anyways, so, you know, as much for you as it is for me, and this earbud falls out of my ear every video, you should play a drinking game every time that it happens.
On Friday, I had a more positive review for you guys that was actually under 4 minutes. Yay me! I talked about Mr. Splitfoot by Samantha Hunt. Yes. And that was really great for me. It was one of my top 5 most anticipated reads of the year. It was magical realism. It's a ghost story. These are all things that I really enjoy, and I was glad that it lived up to what I expected of it. I've heard people say that it's kind of a quick read, and therefore have rated it a little bit less than it deserves, I think. Because just because it's quick and fun doesn't mean it's any less beautiful, because the writing is very Kelly Link-esque. But if you would like to know my thoughts on that, and more about the book itself and the plot, go watch that video.
On Friday, I did my first video review without Michaela, and it was not under 4 minutes long. It was, in fact, 4 times 4 plus 2, which is 18 minutes long. There's a reason for that, and that is because of separation anxiety, and just because Taylor and I had also both read it. Taylor from Bibliomancy for Beginners is there, and it was a review of 19 apocalyptic and YA short stories from the anthology After, edited by Ellen Datlow and Terry Windling. We both had a lot of thoughts about it. We read it for a class, so we were thinking especially critical, but it's also just a really funny review because Taylor and I just insult each other the whole time. And, maybe if that video excites you guys, I'll share a very interesting 7-second clip that's not in the video, but includes Taylor doing something very embarrassing. So you should definitely watch that and tell me that you want to see that, because I want to share it with you, let's be honest.
We are pre-recording this video, if you did not know, which means that not all of these books will be read by me when I've recorded this, but I plan to have them all done by Sunday, so I'm going to talk about them all. The first book, which I have finished, I listened to on audio, and that was Queen of the Tearling, and the reason I prioritize that is that we are having an Bibliomancy discussion about that next week, which is something you can look forward to. You should read that book so that we can talk about it drunk together. So that's definitely something that's going to be happening, and yeah, it's a young adult, or maybe not young adult fantasy about a girl who's 19 and becomes queen and has to deal with everything that happens. And we'll talk about that more next week, so definitely look forward to that. The next book I definitely need to finish this week because I plan to do a review of it for Monday, and that is The Three-Body Problem by Si Xin Liu, translated by Ken Liu, and I have been enjoying it. I'm not that far into it yet, but I will have this done because I want to do a review of it for Monday, because Monday is Chinese New Year, and I wanted to read a book translated from Chinese for that and talk about it, because I have been learning Chinese for a little over a year now, and it's really important to me, so yes. I'll be reviewing this on Monday. However, it is a book about aliens and China during the Cultural Revolution. So if you like reading about 1984-esque worlds that actually happened in history, I would definitely check this one out because it talks about it a lot, and that's an interesting period in Chinese history as well. While I was reading that about sort of a real-world dystopia type of thing, I picked up The Circle by Dave Eggers from the library and have been reading this. It's about a utopia-dystopia where in the future everything comes together with one company that has an app called The Circle, and it has to do with privacy, also very 1984-esque. Do you have any privacy in the future? And it starts out being like, yes, we need to get to this point in our technology, and then after that it kind of starts falling apart, and we're like, oh no, we can never let this happen, ever. Never, ever, ever. So, yeah, it's an interesting look at technology and where it can take us, and whether it's a good thing for us or a bad thing for us. And finally, a book that you won't be seeing for a while, but that I read, was The Slow Boat to China and Other Stories, which is actually translated from Chinese, but it is a Malaysian author, if I'm not wrong, but they also speak Chinese, and I got this from the publisher as an ARC, and that review will be coming up at the beginning of March, I believe, because that's when that book comes out. Collection of short stories, translated literary fiction. They were all beautiful, so look out for that review. That's going to be coming up as well. a little bit later than these others are.
I actually read books this week, so that's really exciting. And the first one, if you didn't already guess, was that After anthology that I just talked about, so I'm not going to really say much more about this, except for, again, go watch Taylor and I insult each other. It's a good one. And then I actually read 2 books in a series, and this is actually a reread, and it's The Falconer by Elizabeth May. There's a reason for that. If you don't know, back in 2014, Bibliomancy did a Hangout Sober. So it is set in Edinburgh, Scotland in 1844, except for it's a steampunk-esque place where the main character is a debutante whose mother has been killed by a fairy, and so she goes out seeking revenge and killing all the fairies with this person. Wait, hold on. So she goes out and kills all the fairies and trying to get her revenge, but you find out there's a lot more to that because she's actually a falconer, someone who has special powers to kill fairies and protect the human world, and the plot goes on from there. I'm releasing in a couple of weeks a re-review of this book because I felt that in the Bibliomancy episode that we did that I wasn't fair, and I didn't speak to as much of the potential of the book as I could have, because instead I kept ripping off Taylor, who, I mean, it's a hilarious episode and I really enjoy it and I loved rewatching it before I read this book, but I wanted to be fair. So I re-reviewed it with some more of my, because all those criticisms were valid, but I also wanted to make sure that I talked about its strengths as well. And that was super important because the other book that I read this week was The Vanishing Throne by Elizabeth May. Now, this is the second book in the Falconer trilogy, if you didn't guess. And, oh my god, guys. That book doesn't come out until June. I got the ARC from NetGalley and the publisher, and I thank them very much because, oh my god, guys. Like, I had my issues with this book. I did. Like, 3.5 stars on a good day. The Vanishing Throne is at least 4. I don't want to say too much because it doesn't come out until June and I can't really talk about it until June, but guys, wait for that review because I'm a freak out. I'm probably going to have to do it in video form. I haven't done it quite yet because I'm a freak out. And that's in a good way. And so that's what I have to say about that right now. So thank you for joining us again for another weekly wrap-up. We certainly enjoy making all these videos and reminding ourselves of how accomplished we are every week. And, you know, making fools of ourselves in front of the camera. Oh, no, wait, that's just me. Anyways, we hope that you've seen some content that you're interested in seeing for yourself. Or maybe you have already read and seen all the content we just talked about, in which case, oh my god, you're my favorite person. And you should tell us that you've watched all that because we will give you a prize. It may just be our undying love and devotion because we're broke, but like, hey, who doesn't want that? Anyways,